Hi everyone, Ashley here and welcome to another video on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be showing a speed video of how to make this cute holiday card featuring the Snow Bunny stamp set from Lawn Fawn, which was their Stamptember collaboration set. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'm starting out by inking up my background, and I knew that I wanted to use a cloud stencil, which I'm using the My Favorite Things one you can see on the left there, and that I wanted it to be a rainbow cloud background. So basically what I'm doing is I've laid out a bunch of different colors of Distress Oxide inks in sort of a rainbow assortment going from red to purple, and I'm just going from bottom up, so actually starting at purple and then working backwards to red, and just with every layer of the stencil inking on a different color of ink. So I started with purple at the bottom and now I'm going all the way up to red at the top. And you'll see when I remove the stencil, that beautiful rainbow cloud effect that you get. So it looks like a rainbow of clouds, which is just really cute. I wanted the rainbow clouds to be a little bit sparkly, so it's kind of hard to see on the camera what I'm doing here, but I'm actually just spraying on some glitter spray. And this is just a liquid, almost like water consistency in a spray bottle that has glitter in it. So when you spray it on and then dab it off with the paper towel, you get some nice shine and glitter onto your paper. And I just did the same thing with some regular water too. And I'm just showing it here, I'm sort of rotating it for the camera, so you can see a little bit of the shine and sort of water splotchy effect that you get from spraying the water on and then dabbing it off with paper towel. And that's the great thing about Distress Oxide inks, is that they are so water reactive. I knew that I wanted some snow to be at the bottom of the scene, so I used a Marvy snow marker and just dabbed it on. And the cool thing about this marker is that all you have to do is dab on the liquid and then heat set it with a heat gun, which I just did there, and you get this really cool puffed up snow effect. So I'm just showing it here on the camera and trying to rotate the cardstock so you can see sort of how 3D it is. And I actually showed this marker in a little bit more detail in one of my recent haul videos, which you can go watch by clicking on that link in the top right corner. So go check that out if you want to see more detail on that. So now that the background's done, it's time to stamp out the images that I want to use on this card. So like I said before, I'm using images from the Lawn Fawn Snow Bunnies stamp set, and this was one of their collaborations for Stamptember with Simon Says Stamp, which means that it was sort of a limited edition, and once they were sold out, they're gone. So I was super excited when I saw it, and I picked it up right away because I just love all of Lawn Fawn's stamp sets, and I knew that if I let the chance go by without getting it and then it was gone, I would probably be really mad at myself. So as you can see, I'm actually taping off the nose on the Snow Bunny snowman because I want one of the bunnies to be putting the carrot on his nose. Probably the little bunny sticking his arm out. So I knew that I wanted him to be putting the nose on the snow bunny, so I didn't want the nose to already be on the snow bunny. So if you ever have a part of a stamp that you just don't want to actually be part of the final stamped image, it's really easy to just cover it up with a little bit of tape and then ink up your stamp and then remove the tape before you actually stamp the image. That way, that masked part of the stamp is not actually stamped. So then I also went ahead and used some brown Distress Oxide ink to stamp out the little arms because I knew that I wanted them to be as if they were made out of sticks. So it just made sense to stamp them in brown. Now I'm using my Copic markers to color in all of these images. And I've shown a lot of videos using my Copic coloring before, so if you've watched some of my other videos, you'll probably be pretty familiar with my technique. Basically what I like to do is go in with a dark color and color in the parts where I think there should be more of a shadow, and then blend that out with a lighter color. And for a lot of these smaller images, I typically do just use 2 shades to blend. And what I do is that after I use my light color, I go back in with the dark color to add even extra shadow, and then I don't blend that out again. So I think that actually adds almost like a fake third layer of dimension, which from my experience is a really good way to get some extra dimension into these small images, where I find that a lot of times coloring with 3 colors is actually quite difficult because the images are so small that if you try to use too many markers, sometimes they bleed out of the edges, which I don't like. So on the bunny, I'm using some shades of warm gray, and I tried to use a couple darker shades for the body of the bunny and a couple lighter shades for sort of the belly and the tail. These bunnies are just so cute. I love that one is wearing a little Santa hat and one is wearing a little scarf. I just think they're so adorable. I also used some orange shades to color in those carrots, and another part of this stamp set that I love is that cute little carrot present. I just think Lawn Fawn has some of the cutest ideas sometimes, and I just think it's adorable. So a couple of the finishing touches that I generally like to add when I'm coloring in these images with Copic markers is to color the cheeks of little critters with pink. So I like to use my R20 marker, that's sort of my go-to pink. And then I like to add highlights with white gel pen. So I'm just going through all the images now and adding a couple of white highlight accents in the places where I think that there should be extra light shining onto the image. Okay, so the next step is to then cut out all of these images, so I'm just using my little scissors and fussy cutting. Actually, watching this sped up is an interesting way of noticing that my technique for fussy cutting is definitely to kind of hold the image with my left hand and rotate it, while I kind of keep the scissors pretty much pointing in the same direction. And I find that this works really well to get into those little nooks and crannies and sort of make it more accurate, your cutting. I also generally like to leave a little bit of a white border around the stamp because I just think that that leaves a really nice sort of cute finishing touch. But if you don't want to leave that white border, you don't have to. And a trick that I've used in the past when I want to cut right up against the edge is to then take a black marker and sort of go around the edges of the stamp that you just cut out, so that you can kind of like mask a bit of the cutting edge anywhere where you didn't get it perfect. So that works really well for that technique. But in this case, I'm just leaving the white border, and it kind of makes your life a little bit easier because you don't have to do that extra step. So I don't know about you, but I find fussy cutting actually very therapeutic. I don't mind it at all. I know a lot of people find it very annoying and tedious. But that being said, I do also enjoy having the coordinating dies when, budget constraints allow, of course. Okay, so the next step is to stamp out the sentiment, and for this I've cut out a banner using the Lawn Fawn Wavy Banner dies in the second largest size, and then I just used some Versamark ink to stamp out the sentiment Happy Holidays, which of course goes very well with these cute bunnies. And I'm coating that with some Hero Arts white embossing powder, and I'm going to just heat set it now, and you can kind of see in the sped up version how it just beautifully kind of comes to life when you heat set it, which is really nice. I'm using some of the Lawn Fawn speckled paper in pink to make a little bit of a border there on the card base, so you'll be able to see the pink sort of peeking out from the card front, which I thought just went really well with this sort of rainbow bunny feel of this card. I'm then going to pop up the card front onto some fun foam, which I'm just lining with double-sided tape here, and I'm going to use that to pop up the card front. As you can see, I already went ahead and stamped the rest of the sentiment on the bottom of the card front there to some bunny special. So Happy Holidays to some bunny special, which is just so cute. I'm also using some foam squares to pop up all of these little elements so that they sit above the snow. So I glued the carrot into the hand of one of the bunnies, so it looks like it's putting it on the snow bunny's nose. And then I also glued a little stick hand into the arm of the other bunny, so it looks like it's putting the arm onto the snow bunny. And I think I'm going to actually just go ahead and glue the other arm onto the snow bunny already. So one of the bunnies already put one arm on, and now the other bunny is putting the second arm on. So I'm using foam squares to just pop up all of these little elements. And I wanted to add the finishing touch of just that cute little present carrot, which is so cute. And just glue that down with some multimedia matte, which is a really nice liquid glue. I'm using that glue also to glue down the sentiment strip here, and that will almost finish the card. But the last step is that, of course, me being me, I had to glitter it up a little bit, even more than it was, and add some nice clear iridescent gems. And I really like these because they kind of add a sparkle without really being overpowering because they're clear, so they kind of do blend into the background, but if you notice them, then you see the sparkle. Okay, so that is the final card for today. I really love how this card turned out. I really like the rainbow background. It's kind of magical, and it adds sort of a fantastical element to the card. And I like that the bunnies are popped up onto their little hill of snow there. And then I dropped the card, but it's okay. It survived. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe. All those YouTube things help. And in case you didn't know, I do post videos here to YouTube every week. So if I don't see you before, then I'll see you in a week. Thanks for watching. Bye!